So coming into your child's pose, releasing the forehead down to the mat or to a block. And again, if puppy pose is more comfortable for you here, feel free to take that. And if neither of these is comfortable on your knees or your back, just coming into an easy seated position. And maybe closing the eyes wherever you are, beginning to let the body settle. Starting to take some deeper, fuller breaths. If you're in child's pose, you can rock the forehead a little side to side on the mat if that feels good. Moving nice and slow. And letting the floor just support you here, feeling that support beneath you. Feeling all points of contact between you and the mat. And beginning to relax into that more. Feeling the breath moving all the way down into the belly, but also into the sides of the rib cage and even into the back body. And then drawing your attention to your tailbone. So just checking in, noticing that point, just bringing your attention gently there. And as you take a few more breaths, gently bringing your attention further up, all the way up the spine to the top of the head. Noticing if there are places you can relax a little bit more. Maybe softening in the shoulders and the face and the throat. And then lightly holding your attention at the top of your head. And imagining that any discomfort, anything that you're feeling, any tension can just drain out of the top of your head and down into the earth. And give yourself 2 more deep, full breaths here. And letting go of any distractions, anything that's no longer serving you. And then maybe wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes a little. And pressing into the tops of the feet, pressing into the hands as you start to walk yourself back up. If you were in a seated position instead of child's pose, go ahead and join us in table. Taking a moment here to get the knees under the hips, wrists under the shoulders or a little bit in front. If your feet started to fall asleep a little, you can tap them on the mat, just waking up the legs a little bit. And then let's inhale, drop the belly, heart opens into your cow. And on the exhale, we're going to round into our cat, and then we're going to sit back almost like child's pose again. So we're doing our rolling cat-cow today. On the inhale, you can drop the elbows or they can just come closer to the mat. Coming back up into your cow. And exhale, gently rolling back. So if this is an uncomfortable cat-cow for you, please find any other version that feels better. Moving with your breath, nice and slow. Really checking in with the foundation here. So pressing all 10 knuckles, all 10 fingertips, all 10 toes if you can get them down. Let's do one more round. And then pressing back up to table. Let's go ahead and shift the weight a little bit to the left. We're going to start to take some circles with that right knee. If you need to pad the left knee, please do, or the hands. A folded blanket or towel works really well. So taking some nice slow hip circles here on the right side. And then reversing the direction. And then let's inhale, extend that right leg long. And then release the toes to the mat, press back into the heel. So maybe staying here, you might have to make an adjustment with your hands a little bit to feel more stable. You can also just reach the left fingertips forward and keep them on the mat. If you want to take the full twist on your inhale, left fingertips are going to reach up. Still pressing that right heel back. Your gaze does not have to be up at the ceiling. Take one more breath. And slowly release. Release that right knee. We're going to keep our left hand planted. We're going to move into our thread the needle. So inhale, right hand reaches. And exhale, thread it under that left arm. You can take a block if that would feel more comfortable to have the head lifted today. Finding your easy thread the needle here. Notice if your hips have shifted one direction or the other. See if you can keep them right under the knees, or right over the knees, sorry. Left hand can reach towards the top of the mat or up towards the ceiling. Deep, deep, full breaths here. Give it one more deep breath into the side body. And then draw that left hand back if it was lifted. Use it to help you press back and up. And we'll do the other side. So we're going to shift our weight to the right. We're going to start to take those hip circles with that left knee and hip. So these can be really small or they can be big. You're trying to balance the weight between both hands if you can. Press into the knuckles. Core is engaged. And reverse the direction whenever you're ready. And come back to center. Let's inhale, extend that left leg long behind you. And exhale, release the toes to the mat, press into that left heel. So make any adjustments you need to the hands so you feel balanced here. Core is going to hug in. Right fingertips can just reach a little bit forward on the mat. Or if you want to twist, inhale, fingertips reach up. Breathing wherever you are. And slowly release. Release that left knee to the mat. We're going to keep our right hand planted. We're going to thread the needle on that left side. So inhale, left arm reaches. And exhale, thread your needle. Making sure to use your props if you feel like you need that support today. Again, check out what your hips are doing, if they've swayed too far to one side or the other. See if you can shift them back. Right hand can extend towards the ceiling or towards the top of your mat. Breathing into the back of the left shoulder and feeling that length in the right side body. Give it one more breath here. And then if that right hand was lifted, go ahead and draw it back. Use it to gently help you press yourself back up. Go ahead and move any props out of the way, unless you're using a blanket for cushioning on your mat. And we're gonna come down onto our belly. So I'm just gonna turn around. I feel like you can see my head a little easier over here. So we're gonna make our way all the way down onto our belly whenever you're ready. And we're gonna come into our Sphinx pose. So take your time lowering down. Legs are gonna be straight back behind the hips and elbows are gonna be right under the shoulders. So forearms are parallel to each other. And you're gonna press into the hip bones, press into the elbows, and you're kind of thinking about dragging the elbows back a little so that you can open the chest. But you really wanna press those hip bones down. If you're feeling any pain or pinching in the low back, maybe just come into baby cobra instead. Press the index finger and thumb down. Your gaze is straight forward, or maybe out a few feet in front of you on the floor. Give it one more breath here. Really press into the elbows, draw the shoulders away from the ears. And then we're gonna turn our right hand over towards the left a little bit. I'm gonna do my left side so you can see what I'm doing, but you should start with your right. And then we're gonna take, left hand. So we're gonna take the other hand out by the shoulder and just twist a little, look back. See if you can press that hip down. So though your upper body is twisting, your lower body is still pressing down. If you want, you can stay here. If you want to go for a little bit of a quad stretch, a thigh stretch here, maybe bending that right knee and reaching back for the foot. And if you're holding the foot, go ahead and lower the chest a little, still press that right hip down. So getting a nice shoulder opening here, nice hip opener. You don't want that knee lifting off of the mat. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly release the foot if you had a hold of it. Bring that right hand back. We're going to take the other side. So now it's the left fingertips that are going over towards the right. Right hand is coming back by the chest, and you're doing a little twist in the upper body, but you're still pressing that right hip down. I'm sorry, left hip. Whichever side you're doing, just make sure it's the opposite. Breathing here. If you want to take that quad stretch, you're going to bend the knee and you're going to reach that hand back for it, grabbing hold of the foot, and you're going to press the hip down and lower the chest a little bit back to center. So you can still be in that twist, but if you're holding onto the foot, make sure you're pressing that hip down. Give it one more breath wherever you are. And slowly release the foot if you had hold of it. Go ahead and release that foot back down. Come back to center. Go ahead and stack your palms one on top of the other, elbows out to the side, and release the forehead to the hands. So coming into our crocodile pose here for a nice release for the low back. See if you can soften everything into the mat. Feeling any tension that has come into the body while we've been moving, just start to drain away. Deep, full breaths into the low back. And then check in with that long line of the spine one more time while you're here. So starting at the tailbone, moving your attention up the spine until you get all the way up to the crown of the head. And just imagine releasing any energy, anything you're holding on to, any tension, just releasing it out through the top of the head. And then nice and slow, start to draw the palms back underneath the shoulders. And we're going to press back up to table. And a nice option here is to just move into a child's pose. I'm going to take rabbit pose, which we haven't done before. So, or if we have, we've not done it often. So if you want to take child's pose, or if you come into rabbit and it's not comfortable for you, go ahead and move into child's pose. So it's pretty similar. My feet are going to point straight back. My knees are going to be a little bit closer together if I'm in rabbit. And instead of sitting my hips back, I'm going to lower the top of my head towards the mat, and I'm going to hug my belly button in so I can reach my hands back. So traditionally in rabbit, you're reaching for your feet. I have a hard time grabbing mine, so I like to hold behind my thighs. And you're definitely not putting a lot of weight on the top of your head. So your head should just be resting on the floor. If you feel like this is putting a lot of weight on it, go ahead and come into child's pose instead. Getting a nice stretch for the whole back of the body. Chin is tucked in towards the chest, belly button is hugging in. Give it one more breath, whether you're in rabbit or child's pose. And then bring the hands back to the floor. Start to slowly press back and up. And we're going to walk our hands a little bit forward. We're going to curl our toes under, and we're going to meet in downward facing dog. So send the hips up and back. Maybe take a moment here to pedal it out. You can bend one knee at a time. Maybe shake the head a little yes and no gently. Pressing into the knuckle of the index finger and thumb. Rolling the shoulders down and away from your ears. And then come into stillness. Look up at your hands. Either walk or step up to meet them, finding your forward fold. You can bend the knees generously here, maybe clasp opposite elbows and find a little sway. Letting the head and neck go. Noticing if you're pressing evenly into all sides of the feet. And then release the hands, find a deep bend in the knees. Hug in the belly button as you start to press through the feet to come all the way up. Moving nice and slow, chin is the last thing to lift. And when you arrive, if you need to, shake it out. All right. So coming into our mountain pose, feet are hip distance apart or they can be closer together, whatever makes you feel more stable. And then press into the feet. Notice how that activates the legs, but it also causes the legs to straighten more. So make sure you've got a little bend in the knees. Find a gentle tuck of the tailbone. In kids yoga, we talk about a heavy dinosaur tail. If that imagery helps you, go ahead and find your dinosaur tail. So your backside is tucking and moving down towards the mat. Palms can open to face forward or they can come together at the heart. Finding a lift through the spine here. And take a moment here to close your eyes or just to rest the gaze a few feet out in front of you on the floor. And once more, take your attention to the tailbone, slowly moving up the spine. Bringing it all the way up to the crown of the head. And this time, imagine that the crown of the head is open to receive any new energy. Maybe visualizing a nice pure white light here, if that is a helpful visualization for you. Just opening to receive any positive energy from the world, from yourself, from the people and things around you. Open to receive the wisdom and intuition of your own body and breath. And whatever comes up for you on the mat. Take one more deep, full belly breath here. And then allow the eyes to open. And let's inhale, reach the arms up, grab a hold of that right wrist, gently pull it up towards the ceiling, lengthen that side body, then find your side bend to the left. So press that right hip right. See if you can keep the weight even in both feet. You may have to come back a little. And then come back to center. Grab hold of that left wrist, same thing. Gently pull up and over. And come back to center. Inhale, reach both arms up. Little tiny back bend if you'd like. And exhale, take the hands down, heart center as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come to the legs for support. Exhale, release back into your fold. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let it go. And once more, inhale, halfway. And exhale, soften and release. Let's take the hands to the tops of the thighs, press through the feet and come all the way back up. We're going to do 2 more rounds, modified sun salutations. So let's inhale. This time, if you'd like, you can draw the hands together up overhead. You can press through the feet and take a little back bend, lifting in the belly and chest. And exhale, folding down. Inhale, halfway lift. Think of that line of the spine from tailbone to head. Exhale, let it go. This time you can roll back up. You can take the hands to the thighs or you can press through the feet and lift the arms and come all the way up. And then hands come down to the chest. Let's do 1 more round. Inhale, hands sweep up. If you'd like, palms can come together. You can take that little back bend. And exhale, hinging at the hips, folding all the way forward. Inhale, nice long spine, lifting up. Exhale, let it go. Soften and fold, let the neck go. Inhale, make your way back up to mountain, whatever way is comfortable for you. And exhale, releasing the hands to the heart or down by the sides. Very nice, everyone. All right. So we're going to come into our warrior 1. We're going to take a big step back with that right foot. And then take a moment here to find your correct positioning. So if you're feeling off balance in warrior 1, it means your feet are a little bit too close together as if you're on a tightrope. So take the feet a little wider away from each other. Back toes are turned at a 45-degree angle. So that's about the 2 if your mat was a clock face. Take that right hand and dial that right hip forward. So your hips should be square. And then find a bend in that left knee. And then we have a couple of options for the arms today. So arms are welcome to stay down by the sides. Hands can come to the hips or together at the heart as we normally do. They can also lift back and up. And if you'd like, I'm going to see if I can do this without disconnecting my microphone. You can also try and take eagle arms here. So maybe just opening the arms wide and then crossing them, right arm over the left, reaching for opposite shoulders and lifting the elbows. Or if you'd like, you can take the elbows together and take a bind with the arms. So this is more challenging. Breathing wherever you are, pressing the hips down. Give it one more breath. Maybe lift the arms a little higher. And slowly release the arms. Go ahead and straighten that leg. Take as many steps as you need to come forward. Shake out the legs if you need to. We're going to switch sides. So left foot steps back. Coming into your warrior one on this side. You're going to dial that left hip forward, then find that bend in the right knee. So make sure your foundation is strong here. Make sure you're feeling that you're balanced, that you're not shaky. You have this connection to the earth. Press the back heel down. Then find an arm position that's comfortable for you. Hands at the heart, maybe on the hips, maybe lifted. Maybe this time you're crossing the left arm over the right, grabbing hold of opposite shoulders and lifting the elbows. Or maybe you're coming into your full eagle pose, hooking the elbows and finding whatever bind feels comfortable. Breathing wherever you are, don't lose your foundation. Take one more breath. If your arms are bound, maybe lift them a little higher. And slowly release. Let's go ahead and step forward. Shake out the legs. All right. We're going to do warrior three as well. So some balancing poses today. So again, we're going to step that right foot back. I'm going to take my hands to my hips because it helps me feel more balanced. And I'm just going to keep the ball of the foot and the toes on the mat. So even this is a balance challenge. Maybe you're staying here. If you're staying here, you're going to be a little bit more upright. I have some of my weight forward, but some of it's back as well. If you want to try and challenge your balance even a little bit more, you're going to lean your weight forward onto that left foot and come up onto just that big toe, maybe the second toe of the right foot. Starting to engage the core wherever you are. So hugging the ribs in, hugging the belly button back towards the spine. Make sure you can keep breathing here. If you go a little further, maybe you're going to release the hands down by your sides and let them be a little bit of a counterbalance for you as you start to lift that right foot. So you're tipping a little bit forward here. You can always set that foot down and come back, practicing your balance. Or you can start to tip even a little bit further. So breathing wherever you are, finding one point to rest your gaze. If you need to lower that back foot, please do. Give it one more breath. And then slowly release that foot down. Go ahead and shake out that standing leg. Maybe take some hip circles. And we'll do the other side. So this time our standing leg is going to be that right leg. And I'm just going to start by taking that left foot behind me. I'm up on the ball of the foot and the toes. And you can just stay here. You can even start to tip your weight a little bit forward. You're still practicing balance, even if you're not moving into any further version of the pose. If you want to go a little further, moving most of your weight into that standing leg and then just maybe having the tips of the big and second toe touching. If you want to go even further, definitely engaging the core. Make sure you're not locking that standing leg and lifting the left leg up. So again, if you want to lift and then lower and then lift again, working on balance there, you can. If you want to come into a more of a back bend here, more of a lift, it's not really a back bend, but think about this long line of the spine. We've been practicing it all practice. So from the top of the head all the way down to the tailbone, and by extension, the bottom of that lifted foot. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly release. Very nice, everyone. Shake out that standing leg if you need to. All right. Balancing poses can be very challenging. We just have to remember not to take ourselves so seriously. Everybody falls, everybody comes back into it. Your balance is going to change day after day. Every moment is different. So this is why we practice. We're going to do one more balancing pose and then we'll take it back down. So we're going to find tree. We're going to shift our weight onto that left leg and go ahead and take the heel of the right foot up against that leg. So from here, think about, go through your checklist, dropping the tailbone down. Imagine that dinosaur tail again. So hips are facing forward. You're opening that right knee out to the right. And this is a balance challenge already, squeezing the legs towards each other, zipping up through the center line. So hugging in the core, maybe staying here. Arms can be down or hands can be together at the heart. If you want to go a little further, you can take the bottom of that right foot up to the left ankle or right under the knee. You can even tuck the bottom of that right foot right up against the inner thigh crease on the left. My knees don't really work well that way, but you're welcome to try it. Just make sure that you're not pressing on that knee. So really squeezing the foot and leg against each other. Notice if that left hip is sticking out, draw it back. Finding one point to rest your gaze, keep breathing. Feel this long line of the spine again. This time all the way from that left foot, all the way up to the top of the head. Give it one more breath. And slowly release. Go ahead and shake out that standing leg. Find some leg circles. We're going to stretch the legs out after this. All right, we'll switch sides. So right side is going to be our standing leg now. We're going to take the bottom of that left heel up against the right leg. Left knee is opening out to the side. You're pressing everything in towards the center line. Drop the tailbone, lift the head. And then when you're ready, you can stay here or you can move into a different version. So coming to the ankle, maybe right below the knee or above the knee. Pressing the foot and the standing leg against each other. Drawing in the belly button. You can find a different hand position if that feels good for you. And remembering that if you fall out of this, that's okay. Just taking your time, resetting yourself and coming back. Give it one more deep breath. And slowly release. Fantastic job, everyone. Shake out that standing leg. All right. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, find your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let it go. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step to downward dog just for a breath. And then lower the knees And let's come to a seat. So we're going to come to a seat with the legs wide. And then we're going to leave the right leg where it is. Make sure I'm far enough back that you can see both my legs. And then we're going to just bend that left knee. And the bottom of the left foot does not have to touch the right inner thigh, but it can if that's comfortable for you. So we're going to take a side bend first. Go ahead and flex those right toes. Take the right hand either down the right leg in front or behind it. And we're going to inhale, reach the left arm up. So think about that long line between the left fingertips and the left hip. You're pressing that left hip down, seeing if you can roll that left shoulder just a little bit further back. And then slowly release that left hand, rotate the chest towards that right leg. If you need to use a strap here, you can. But this is not going to be an intense stretch. So we're just going to inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, just round over that leg. Hands can be on the floor. They can be on the leg itself or the foot. They can also be on either end of a strap, but we're really not reaching or pulling here. We're just letting gravity do the work for us. Deep, full breaths, noticing where you're feeling the sensation. You should be feeling a bit of a stretch in that right low back and side body. So breathing into that sensation. Give it one more breath here. And then slowly walk yourself back up. And we'll take the other side. So left leg's going to extend this time, right knee is going to bend. Making any adjustments you need to here. Make sure your hips are feeling nice and grounded. Go ahead and flex those left toes. Left hand reaches down the leg. And inhale, send the right arm up and over, side bend. Creating length and space in that right side body. Seeing if you can press that right shoulder back just a little bit. And then look down towards your left leg. Release the the right arm and rotate the chest towards the left. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, just fold over the leg. And again, hands are nice and relaxed here. Shoulders are relaxed. Finding a tuck of the chin. Excuse me. You're not trying to press into any sensation or pull here. You're just getting a nice, gentle stretch for that for the right side, low back. Give it one more breath wherever you are. And then use your hands on the floor to start to press yourself back up. And I'm going to turn sideways. We're going to extend both legs out in front of us now. So coming into our staff pose, legs are close together. They don't have to be touching, but as close as is comfortable. And then go ahead and move the sort of fleshy part of the thighs and the buttocks aside, so you're really up on your sit bones. And you may want to strap for this fold, but again, we're just going to take it nice and gentle. So flex through the feet. Take a moment, release the hands to the side body and sit up nice and tall. Hug the belly button in. So traditionally in staff pose, you're pressing the palms down. My arms are a little short for that. So I just press my fingertips down, but you really want to lower the shoulders. Inhale here. And exhale, start to walk your hands forward. Coming into a fold, reaching for the legs or the feet or your strap. Whatever's comfortable here. If you need to bend your knees, please do. Finding a gentle tuck of the chin. Breathing into the back body. Give it one more breath. And then hug your belly button towards the spine. Start to roll up from that place of connection. Nice and slow. And we're going to make our way onto our back. Make sure you have a block and a strap nearby. We're going to be using both of them. All right, so making your way down onto your back. And when you arrive, go ahead and take your feet as wide as your yoga mat and do some windshield wipers with the knees. And then we're going to draw the feet back to hip distance. We're going to press into the feet just enough to lift the hips and slide the block under the sacrum. So we're coming into our supported bridge. If you don't have a block, or if the block is uncomfortable, you can use a pillow or a couple of folded towels or a blanket here. It's just a slightly gentler option. The sacrum is that flat bone between the tailbone and the hips. I'm sorry, between the tailbone and the waist. You kind of know it when you hit it. And this should feel comfortable. So if it's any pain or pinching here, go ahead and lower. Take the block out. Your block should be on its lowest setting. Arms can open by the sides, palms face up if that's comfortable. And take a couple of breaths here. Finding a gentle, tiny tilt of the chin up towards the ceiling. Breathing into the belly. And then maybe staying here if this is feeling comfortable and supportive. This is a nice restorative pose. Or you can start to find legs up the block, taking the feet up towards the ceiling, or even just taking the knees up. That can feel nice too. You may have to adjust the positioning of your block or pillow. And you can also, of course, extend the legs and stay in stillness. Maybe flexing and pointing the feet or taking some ankle circles. You can also bend one leg at a time, or even take the splits. So if you're finding some gentle movement here, make sure you're moving nice and slow, as if through water. You can also just extend the legs out long on your mat. Taking some deep, deep, full breaths wherever you are. And go ahead and give it 2 more breaths, either in movement or stillness, whatever feels good for you. And then if the feet are lifted, go ahead and rebend the knees. Take the feet down to your mat. We're going to press into the feet just enough to lift the hips and slide that block or pillow or blanket out from underneath it before you lower the hips again. And then go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. Maybe rock a little side to side or take some slow circles with the knees. Make sure you go in both directions if you're circling, just kind of ironing out the low back here. And then we're going to keep the right knee hugged in. We're going to release that left foot to the mat and go ahead and grab your strap. So we're going to take it around the bottom of the right foot and reach that foot up towards the ceiling. Now you can have as much of a bend in the knee as you'd like here. Even if your knee is bent a lot, that's still going to get a stretch into the back of the leg. We're trying to open the hamstring. Or if your foot is further away from you than mine is, and that's the only place that you feel like you can straighten a little bit more, get a little bit more of a stretch, that's totally fine. So wherever you are, you're gently encouraging that leg towards your front body, but you're not really pulling actively. Maybe flexing and pointing the foot. You may have to adjust the strap a little bit. Nice full breaths. And then go ahead and switch both ends of the strap into that right hand. And we're going to extend that left leg long. So extending the left leg long may cause you to release that right foot a little bit further down because it's intensifying the stretch in the back of the right leg. That's totally fine. Go ahead and flex both feet really actively. And I like to put my left hand on my left hip bone as a reminder to keep that hip and glute down. Inhale here, and on your exhale, start to open your right leg out to the right. Only as far as feels comfortable. If you have a lot of flexibility and your foot comes all the way down to the floor, go ahead and bring it back. You don't want the foot touching the floor. So both feet are nice and flexed. And even if you're lowering only a little bit, you're still getting that nice stretch in the inner thigh, all the way down that leg. And you don't want that left hip or glute lifting at all. So if it is, bring that foot back a little. Give it one more breath here. And nice and slow, use your core strength to help you bring that right leg back up to center. We're going to switch the straps into the left hand this time. Right arm can open out to the right if that's comfortable. And we're going to start to take that right foot over to the left, only as much as is comfortable for you. And this time it's totally okay for that right hip to lift. In fact, you're trying to stack the hips. My foot's kind of going into my closet because I'm in a tiny space here. You're still going to be getting a really great stretch. If you are in a tiny space, I'm going to bring my foot back a little to show you. You're still going to get a really great stretch, even if you're just flexing that foot and taking it barely across the body. You're still getting a really great IT band stretch here. So either hips stacked or that foot is just crossed over a little bit. With the foot all the way over, you're getting a little bit more of a low back stretch as well. Bending the knee if you're feeling any pain or pinching. Deep, deep, full breaths wherever you are. Give it one more breath. And then bend that knee first. Bend that right knee deeply before you start to bring it back up to center. Go ahead and release the strap. Set it aside for a moment. Bend that left knee, take your feet wide, and do those windshield wipers. Dropping the knees gently side to side. And whenever you're ready, we'll move on to the left side. So right foot stays planted with the knee bent. We're going to hug that left knee into the chest and go ahead and grab your strap. Take it around the bottom of the left foot. Usually one side's a little different than the other. My left side is my looser side, so I can get a little bit closer to my chest. But if this is your tighter side, bend the knee more or take that leg a little further away from you. Breathing here, feeling the opening in the back of that leg, maybe flexing and pointing the foot, stretching the leg. Gently encouraging that thigh towards your chest. Take one more breath here. And then go ahead and take both ends of the strap into the left hand, slide your right leg along down your mat, and really flex those right toes. So as if you're standing up on that right leg. Inhale here. Exhale, start to open that left leg out to the left. Doesn't have to go super far. So again, I don't have a super big space. This is about as far as I can go. So breathing here. You want to try and keep both legs very active. You can bend that left knee a little bit if you need to, but the feet are both flexed. My right hip and glute are staying pressed down on the mat. Give it one more breath here. And then we're going to start to bring that left leg back up to center. Switch both ends of the strap into the right hand. You can open that left arm out to the side. You can also take a half cactus arm if that feels more comfortable or if you have limited space. And you can start to take that left foot across the body. If it's not possible for you to lift that left hip where in your space where you are, you can just cross it over a little bit. You're still getting a really great deep IT band stretch. If you do want to go further, you're going to lift that left hip and stack the hips, but you're still keeping the left shoulder on the mat. Left foot is still really active. Again, if this is too much, bend the knee. Bend that left knee more. Breathing wherever you are. Whatever version of the pose you're doing, you're still getting a really deep stretch along that left leg and into the left hip and low back. So breathe deeply wherever you are. Give it one more breath. And then rebend that left knee before you start to take it back to center. Go ahead and release the strap. You can set it aside. We are done with the strap now. Release the left foot to the mat, rebend that right knee, and take your feet wide with one more set of windshield wipers. And then take the soles of the feet together, knees wide. So coming into our reclined butterfly or cobbler's pose. Maybe just resting the hands on the belly here. Or you can take the arms up overhead with the elbows bent, fingertips touching, creating this diamond shape with the arms and legs, letting the whole front body open. This time taking your attention up the front body from the base of the spine all the way to the top of the head, seeing if you can soften along that central channel, seeing if you can feel the energy moving up. Imagining that white light at the top of the head, if that is a good visualization for you. Imagining an opening, a releasing of any stale energy, and a drawing in and opening to receive any new, fresh energy. Take one more breath here, deep into the belly. And go ahead and release the hands if they were lifted. You can use them to gently close the knees together. If you want to stay in reclined cobbler or butterfly for your Shavasana, please do. You can put some blocks under the knees to help support them. Otherwise, you can come into any other comfortable position for your final resting pose of your practice. Taking any other movement you need on the way there, maybe a full body stretch. or anything else your body is calling for. And getting yourself set up with any props that feel good, that help aid in your relaxation. And when you arrive in your comfortable final resting pose of the practice, go ahead and allow the eyes to soften or close. And let's all take a deep, deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. 2 more, deep breath in. Long sigh out. 1 more deep, full breath in. Breathe with your whole body. Exhale, sigh it out. Let the whole body soften. Start to bring your attention to the top of your head once more, letting your breath return to its natural rhythm. Seeing if you can relax the top of the head, the back of the head, and let them become heavy and soft. Relaxing across the forehead, into the temples. Feel the space between the eyebrows grow a little bit wider. Softening the eyes back into the sockets, softening all the muscles around the eyes. Feeling the cheeks soften, letting your jaw go. Tongue is heavy and relaxed. Lips and chin, nice and soft. I'm softening the ears and along the jawline, all the way down into the throat. Relaxing the back of your neck, the sides of your neck. Relaxing the top of the shoulders and the shoulder blades. Feeling the arms nice and heavy. Fingers are relaxed. Softening the upper back and the chest, feeling the chest and belly open. Feeling the mid back and the low back connecting to your mat. Hips and pelvis are heavy and relaxed. Glutes are soft. Moving down into the legs, softening all sides of the thighs, the fronts and backs of the knees, the calves and the shins. Ankles are heavy and rooting into your mat. Feet are relaxed, softening each toe, all the way down to the soles of the feet. We'll take a few more quiet moments in this space, letting the thoughts come and go, releasing anything that you're ready to let go of, any last bits of tension and anything else that's no longer serving you. Slowly beginning to bring your attention to your breath. Beginning to deepen it. Beginning to feel the rise and fall growing. Feeling new energy spread through the body. And finding any movement that feels good in the fingers and the toes, the wrists and ankles. Maybe gently turning the head from side to side. When you're ready, bending the knees, making your way onto whichever side is comfortable. Gently pressing yourself back up to a comfortable seat, taking your time to arrive. Allowing the eyes to soften or close once more, and sitting up nice and tall. And one more time, taking your attention from the base of the spine, the tailbone, all the way up to the top of the head, feeling the length and lift in the spine. This support that's always with you. This opening and releasing. If it's comfortable, drawing the hands together at the heart, sealing in your practice, leaving behind anything that didn't serve you on the mat, taking anything that did into the rest of your day and week to come. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a lovely day. Namaste.